Hello, Mr. Worthington. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview with us
My
today.
pleasure.
Lovely to have you here. So I was doing a bit of research on you. I was fascinated to read your bio, I have to admit. You were a founding editor, or you are a founding editor of the Toronto Sun, a veteran of both the Second World War and the Korean War, and a platoon commander in the Korean War. As a journalist, you also covered the trial of Jack Ruby, the Arab and Israeli Six-Day War, the Nigerian Civil War, and many more. And you also covered the Battle of Alphabet in Eritrea in 1988. Mr. Worthington were with the U.S. Air Force. You were the son of a major general, and you covered major wars and battles. Can we assume that you're an expert in military affairs and battles and war?
I think anybody who claims that
Yeah.
is being foolish,
Okay.
because all kinds of wars are different.
Yeah.
All I will say that I've been to in a career, maybe 30 or 40 wars, revolutions, crises, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
Sort of specialized in that a long time. And since, in the later years, the war in Angola, the Civil War,
Right.
and then of course the Eritrea thing, which always interested me, but I knew absolutely very little about Eritrea until going there in 1988 with another person to film what was happening in that so-called civil war, War of Independence against Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And it was an eye-opener. It's an education for me.
Yeah. How did it come about that you ended up traveling to Eritrea?
Well, I think the television station, I think it eventually appeared on PBS in the States or something, parts of it. And they knew I'd been to Angola, spent a lot of time in Angola in that civil war where the rebels, UNITA rebels, were winning until they were abandoned by the United States, which the United States tends to do occasionally, and went through Sudan and were taken at night into Eritrea and had absolutely no idea where it was, where we were, and where we were basically taken to was into the area of Alphabet, but didn't know it at the time.
Did you fly in, or were you?
No, by truck.
Wow.
They're bringing supplies in.
Right.
And, no lights or anything in the middle of the night, and they're always afraid of Ethiopian planes coming over. Because Ethiopia in those days had probably the largest mechanized army in Black Africa.
Yeah.
And they were run by a Marxist, homicidal psychopath, if you like, in Mengistu.
Yeah.
And Eritrea, which had been, the British had turned it over to the Ethiopians to sort of manage for a while, and then Mengistu just seized the country, and the Eritreans began their struggle, a 30-year struggle to fight for independence. And the EPLF at that time, the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, were the main fighters of it. And it was interesting because, they didn't call themselves soldiers.
Right.
They were fighters. And it was surprising to find so many women in the front ranks fighting. And we were there seeing people and visiting hospitals or whatever.
Yeah.
And then this battle erupted. We didn't know at the time what it was.
Right.
I would say that the Battle of Alphabet, such as it is one of the really few decisive battles in history, if you like. It's been compared with the Dien Bien Phu fight in Vietnam, which broke the spirit and the capabilities of the French army, and meant that North Vietnam had won the North.
Right.
This was the And these, I think there were something like 3 good, experienced Ethiopian divisions. They attacked the trench area of the Eritreans in the mountains,
Yeah.
and were beaten back. What was interesting is that we know now, didn't know then, they were preparing for another mass attack. But instead, the Eritreans surprised them by attacking them on 2 flanks and driving them back. And when the Ethiopian division tried to retreat, they ran into an ambush that the Eritreans got behind them.
Yeah.
And they must have lost, you know, they would have lost in prisoners and dead maybe 18,000, 20,000.
Wow.
You know, it's a huge